Good morning and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Old Bloke Crypto on February the 5th, 2024. We're about an hour and a half after the market open for the day and for the week. And so far, market is down. Ethereum has come down to 22.81, as you can see there on the chart. I'm going to particularly refer to this chart today because it's another confirmation of the confluence to the downside that we're seeing, have been seeing since last week. Haven't seen much over the weekend, very little price action. This is the one-day chart, and you'll see the last couple of days is basically not much happening there at all. So what we're seeing here is we've got this thick liquidity band to the bottom here, and it's been extending right back to the start of the year. And I'll show you the confluence with another chart shortly. But this is thicker, and for longer it's been going, then this particular liquidity band has been building up to the upside. It's just an indicator that the pressure is on, the draw is on to pull price down to the downside and to tag this level, which is sitting between $22.11 and $2,100, which is a pretty significant band of liquidity there. As I was mentioning on Twitter this morning, I was going to talk about this chart, and the takeaway is that expecting a move to the downside first before any move to the upside. And this morning, Australian time, Uncle Jerry was on the mainstream media on 60 Minutes last night, apparently in the United States, and saying what he's been saying consistently for many months, and that is he will, and to quote, to stay the course until the job is done. And that's exactly what he seems to have said on 60 Minutes last night, is being reported on Twitter by the credible news outlets. So as he says here, central bank will proceed carefully with interest rate cuts this year and likely move at a considerably slower pace than the market expects. Gee whiz, Dick Tracy, as the market is pricing in no cuts in March, maybe a cut in May, we shall see. But that's the thing. The jobless numbers, the job numbers on Friday were substantially higher for the non-farm employment figures, were twice what was expected, and that pushed the market down. And so when the US market opens tonight, they're going to take that into account. They're going to take statements by Uncle Jerry into account, of course, and to further push the market down. And as I said, showing in this chart last week that I was talking about, you've got this range that's built up here between approximately 23.90 and approximately 21.31 in confluence with that first chart that I was showing you earlier, sitting up here. The top of that band is 2700, where it topped out in recently, this recent high, as you can see the top of that wick, and comes down to 26. And this one here is down to basically 2100. So a lot of confluence between that and this chart here, especially to the downside around that 2100 level, which is, if you look at this wick again on the daily, and wicks 80% of the time get filled, you'll see that it's around that 50% of that wick. So as I've said previously, if it hits this point here, I'm going to close out my short and add to my long, add further to my long, and then we'll evaluate from there. But expecting, if it does hit this level here, that this doesn't necessarily need to bounce to the dollar, but it will shortly bounce. And you've got this very important 200 EMA coming up as support, which is currently sitting on 2043. So not really that far away from 2131. Okay, so that was Uncle Jerry. Now let's have a look at another liquidity map. And this is on the 30-day, like I was saying on the original chart, that has been going back to the start of this year, which is a little bit over 30 days. This downside liquidations were a lot thicker than the upside liquidations. And you see here, this general thickness of this liquidity here compared to this, which is a lot more spread out to the upside. This is a lot more dense to the downside. So again, it's pulling the price action to the downside. And you can see down here again, we said about that 2100 level, and that's where it tapers off, all this dense liquidity here that wants to draw the market makers down, the price down to it by the market makers, is right down around that 2100. So expecting that to get tagged. And then For some good news, the test nets for Ethereum are continuing to kick goals, and they're going to meet on the 8th of February this week. As it says here on Cointelegraph, Ethereum developers plan to set a mainnet launch date for the Dencun upgrade on Thursday, the February the 8th. That's the meeting planning for the mainnet conversion from the testnet. And so all the other testnets that have gone very well so far, all the tests on the testnet, the upgrades. And so as they said here, February 1 post to Reddit, Ethereum core developer went very well and drew attention to the recent success of the Sepolia fork on January 30th, as well as the upcoming Haleski testnet upgrade on February the 7th. So that's not very far away, but it is by all accounts expected to go very smoothly. We shall see. But this is an example on the longer time frame. It's just one of the things pointing to the upside for Ethereum, because it'll drastically reduce prices for the use of the blockchain, and it will be a real boost to price just in that regard. So there's a lot more to it than that, but this is just a short summary. So it's not all doom, gloom, and looking down to the weeds. Once we get down to the weeds around that 2130 level, perhaps even around the 2040 level at the absolute bottom, then we're going to see price rapidly reverse once all of this good news starts to percolate through the market. So a quick look at ETH BTC while we're here, and you can see here it's still to the downside, below the important EMAs, 50, 200, etc. So it's sitting sideways at the moment. There is a fair bit of support around here. Well, we shall see where that goes, but currently I'm focused on ETH USDT, and that is trending to the downside for the start of this week at the very least. So that's where I expect it to go. That's where I'm planning. But as always, I have a hedge. As I've discussed previously, I have a short and a long position in place just in case we play ping pong in this range in a different order to what I'm expecting. So I'm prepared for it. But as I said, my expectation is for the start of this week at least to come down to the downside and aim to target this downside. 2131 mightn't get all the way there, but it's headed that way right now. This is Old Bloke Crypto with a not financial advice video. It never is. Please hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified of future videos. I publish at least one a day during the weekdays. So stay safe with your trading, and I will speak to you next time. Thank you.